Talked about some effective concepts to growing our groups, choruses, choirs, chorales. Yeah. And one of the things that we covered is 70% of the people join because they're personally invited, 30% because they heard the music and then found a way to get to whatever groups that they were looking for. And then we learned that cattle calls from the stage do not work. That's worse than doing nothing. And then we came up with we shared an alternative to the cattle call. And hopefully many of you were able to experience wow, I did think about it differently when he shared it that way. It made me think, wow, I could do that. I could do that. And we talked about uppy downy. That's the only, if you know that this note goes uppy and the next one goes downy, hey, that's all the musical prowess you need in order to succeed in singing. And then we talked about any concept that we use to move forward in growing our groups. There's a degree of success, and the more number one thing nobody ever gets is you have to be active, not someone else. So we'll talk more about that hopefully tonight. Hopefully we'll get that far about, there's another example where we're not active. We are passive and sedentary. I mean, we can be personal, but it's passive and sedentary and impersonal. Sedentary and impersonal. Very ineffective. We'll talk about that, some examples. One of the things that we should talk about, and I think we did, I just don't think that we wrote it down. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we covered this. Less than 1% of the people really think it's their job to help us grow. Best way to hear our music is live. Emerging groups to elite groups all hear the same thing. Wow, you ladies or you people are all amazing. Right, so we need groups all along. If the spectrum, if we only have these groups, we will implode. And if we only have these groups, we will implode. So we need to celebrate all along the spectrum. Yay. This is a big one, and I got a question, and this is one of the answers. We could start learning songs that are both familiar and approachable to the public. I'm going to give you all a challenge. I want you to find a video anywhere on the internet. And last Thursday, since I've had the extra time, I finished reading the internet. So, it was rather, it was not impressive ending. Okay, so go find me a video. Here's the challenge. Go out and find me a video anywhere on the planet where somebody doesn't sing and the people go, it's the most amazing thing ever. Wah! And I remember in the 5-man group that we sang in, I mean, here we are doing, I don't need whole lots of money. Now, I wasn't the lead singer on that, but we're singing, you know, we're doing these hard rock songs, and it's 2 hours of us just pouring our hearts out, and hey, me, what you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I could. I don't even know if that's the words. It's definitely not all the right notes, but hey, close enough. And then we'd get to the end of our performance and we go, wee dee 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 dee. And I'm thinking, holy smokes, I just poured make my microphone this way tonight. Holy smokes, I just poured my heart out. for 2 hours. And I have 3 stinking notes during this whole song. And you're going to go crazy for that. Right? And it's just the same thing pretty much over and over. Well, why does everybody go crazy for that? Ooh. How's it score on familiar? It is charted in virtually every decade since the 1950s or 60s. I know the Tokens hit with it in the 60s, but I think there might even have been a group that hit with it before then. And the Nylons hit with it, and there's just been numerous. It's just, why is it so universal? It's very approachable. You have 3 stinking notes during the whole song. So, answer to a question, what could you be doing in the meantime? Hey, you could be learning music that is attractive to the rest of the world. And that would be songs that are familiar and approachable. I'm not saying that should be all of your music, but we're talking about how to grow right now. And if you want to grow, hey Jackson, if you want to grow, then this is a really effective tool. You know, the prime real estate is for growing your group? Christmas. Christmas. Because how many people know Christmas songs? Lots of people. They're very familiar. And they're generally not too difficult. Very approachable. Maybe we'll talk about that later as well. So we talked about the 70%, the 30%. Let me go back and just see if there's, yeah. Aha. This is a good one. Here comes our overall concept. If we know that these two are the only 2 effective ways that people come into singing, then maybe we should think about these 2. You know, it doesn't say, hey, 30% of people came into barbershop or came into, I say barbershop because I work in that environment a lot. But it come into singing because they got a business card, right? That doesn't say that. So I even had somebody, John, down in Key West. John, I look forward to working with you all. He said, we have people looking for AA meetings coming into our rehearsals all the time. So maybe there's another % or so that should go into that. Okay, I'm kidding. You'll have to see the previous episode. But here's the overall concept. If these are the only 2 effective ways, then let's not do only one or only the other. Let's do them both. How about we allow people to hear our music that's familiar and approachable, that everybody will think is amazing, and then we personally invite them. It's not stand out in front of the group and say, hey, if you'd like to do what we do. That is not personal. So, overall is personally invite after music. Aha, so they've heard our music. They think, wow, we use that, cattle call alternative. That would have been a great one. I could have won $10,000 on America's Funniest Home Videos on that. So that's going to be our overall concept. And now we're going to flesh it out a little bit. Let me see. This is a really good one. This next concept helps us to define, devise, codify, however we want to say it, what it is that we do well and what attracts people to what it is we do. Here's my question to you. Now, I know that there's a delay, so I'll pretend that there isn't a delay and I'll see your answers. Okay? So get ready on your keyboard, get ready on your little, phone or on your tablet or whatever you might have. Here's the question. You show up to practice rehearsal every week or however often you meet because it's what? There is the blank. Fill in the blank. Because it's what? Okay. So I'm going to wait for a little bit, but I know that the answers are going to come in after I write this down. And here's the number one answer that always shows up. So even before you give me your answer, it is this. Because it's fun. Did anybody get the right answer, Jackson?
I don't know if it came in but for that.
Okay. There's a delay, so we're not sure that people are...
Someone did say fun.
Yay! So who said fun?
Paul Douglas.
Paul, way to go, buddy. Nailed it. So the one answer that we get came in before I even said this, and yet that's the first answer. The next reason that everybody shows up is because of what? What happens, what is it that you show up for every week or every time you all get together? And if I ever say guys, I mean that. Go ahead and put your answers in.
Do you want me to read you the other ones people have?
Yeah, go ahead.
So someone put it makes me forget about everything else.
Yeah.
And then someone put this, and I don't know if it came in to that
Sure.
or to something else, but they said a euphoric recall. People are also hearing their memories.
Ah. Here's usually the second one.
And then fellowship just came in.
There you go. You got it. I heard friendship, fellowship, but I'm going to use friendship. Could be fellowship, could be camaraderie, right? I was in French speaking, I think it was in Montreal, and I learned that camaraderie is French for camaraderie. Yeah, might want to write that down. And of course, the last reason is singing or music. But here's the thing I would like to point out. If you put these in order, this is by far and away, regardless of where we're at on the spectrum, this is far and away the most important things in order. Fun. Hey, I can get yelled at work all week long. I don't need to come to a rehearsal and get yelled at too, right? I get my fill of that. So luckily I own my own business now and I don't get yelled at quite as much, which is good. But then it's the friendships. There's got to be time for that. Yeah. And then singing. And then there's a secret ingredient. We talked about it a little bit, but I'm just going to be very about this, and I'm going to write down the secret sauce. The secret sauce is having an altruistic purpose. Aha. This is a big deal. I'm going to put stars next to it, yeah. Oh man, try to do stars like that, holy cow. Usually I draw a little better than that, but apparently not tonight. That looks like a big blotch of blue mass of nothing. Anyway, here's why this is so important. Because remember the cattle call alternative? What if you're on the stage and saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to mention another thing about this group right here. I mean, did you know that for every performance that this group does, a portion of the proceeds, the gross receipts, not the net, the gross receipts, goes to helping children with special needs and veterans, just for two things to pick. Wow. And aren't they doing a great job? Yay! And we want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here and in turn supporting those children and their families and those veterans and their families. So we want to thank you for being here with us tonight and helping to make a difference in the lives of others. That is so cool. Because now the question becomes, hey, do you want to learn to sing? Or, which is the better question? Hey, do you want to learn to sing and join our group, our cult? It's not a cult. But, or, what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be? And if we ask that question, music is just a way to get to where we want to go as a person and helping others. Because as we talked about, that truly is the perpetual motion machine. Because the more you give, the more you get in return. And it emboldens you to do more, right? So this is a big deal. What should it be? Well, it should be anything that you feel passionate about. Could it be heart disease? Yeah. Could it be literacy? Absolutely. I can tell you that if you can find a group or somebody individually that needs help, that means so much more when you can put a name and a face with somebody that needs help. Hey, I just heard of a group that raised funds for a gentleman that did not have health insurance, and he became very ill. And they just started doing shows and raising the funds to help that person. It just makes my eyes well up. It's so awesome, right? Those are people that are growing and going on to being even better versions of themselves. And that's so awesome. You know, if you want to see an amazing video, I got to give credit where credit is due. The Ontario District, they have raised over $2 million to help families. And in many cases, those with speech impediments. And if you want to watch a video that was made probably around 1990, and when I started, I saw it out on the internet and it had like 27 views. I don't know how many it has now, but you should watch it. You should watch it. It is called Harmonize, then the number 4, Speech. It's so awesome. It makes my eyes well up that some of these young people that have speech impediments or stuttering are going out there and having a success, and how brave they are. All thanks to the people in the Ontario district, and it's just so awesome. You have to see it because it's one of those life successes, right? You have to learn to swim. Oh, I don't have to be afraid when I'm in a boat. You should learn to sing. So, because that's a very revealing thing, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm going to share that with people. And learning to speak in front of others, and that has got to be difficult. You just got to see this. And you say, man, how would you not want to be a part of a group that did something like that? So cool. Harmonize for speech. I guess that's another thing too, is it changes the music. You know, it's not about what you can get by performing, it's what you can give. And then that helps to create higher levels of performance. Let's go back to singing. This will help with performance because I see it all the time. You know, I go to competitions and I see people that are up there for, we want to win and we want to score this number, and they're up there for them. And I've had groups to call me and say, hey, can you help us? And I said, no, I can't. Why? I think I might have mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. Because you're about what you can get. I don't say that. I just said I just don't think we're a good fit, or and so I say I think that it's really about the artistry than the number. And if you're willing to go backwards in numbers to go forward in artistry, then I'm all over that. Because that's the path that's going to get us around that glass ceiling. And guess what? It's about what you can give when you're an artist and performing. And that's what this is too. It's about what you can give, and you learn, like, wow. It helps with stage fright, because it's not about me. It's about the good that I or we can do en masse to help others. So this is just super powerful. I just, and even with the membership, it's not even because you're like, oh, you have all this membership. And I always think about it when you're trying to balance, all these members, and they're, well, I want this and I want that and I want this and whatever. And you're trying to balance all those things. I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah, this could work. And it doesn't. People are always falling off, because if you run too far over here, people slide off, because that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. I wanted more performance. I want more sing-outs. I want more shows. I want just to win. Whatever it is, none of them are wrong. But along comes altruistic purpose. Now, that's not going to work as well as I thought, but if it was something more rigid, how about this? We'll use my boogie board. Right, so if you were trying to, this is going to work. So if you're going to try to balance this, it's going to be very difficult. I don't want to try, because I want to break this, because I can't go out shopping to get another one. But now along comes the altruistic purpose, and it creates a very solid base upon which people can stand and enjoy all kinds of things, because it's not about this or that or them, right? It's about the altruistic purpose, or altruistic purpose. Take a drink of the altruistic purpose. It's very good. It's water, everybody. And the last thing that I'll share with this, I'm just spending time on it because it is so vitally important. It changes the mindset of your membership from, hey, what are you going to do this week, to tickle my fancy, that's the short version. And it changes from, what are you going to give me, how are you going to keep me here, to one step forward. How can I help? How would you like to have a group of people that want to do that? Yeah? Well, this is one of the key ingredients to that. Yay, team! Hey, if that's the only thing we accomplished tonight, how are we doing on time, Jackson? Any question, anybody?
No questions.
Okay. How are we doing on time?
5 minutes.
Perfect. Because I'm going to share with you kind of a really cool thing. How do we invite people? If we're going to personally invite people after they hear our music, this is where it goes. Maybe not mentally, maybe a little bit, but it's like, oh, holy smokes, that will totally work. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. But here's one of the key things. How you ask this question, how you invite, is vitally important. I know I've used that word before with this and maybe some other things, but this is pretty important, because if you say, hey, do you like to sing? Somebody says no, and you go, nice talking to you, okay, right? And you move on. And it's like, boom, you're done. You're like, oh, okay. Hey, do you want to join our group? No? Okay. This is not working so well. So you do that a few times, and pretty soon you're like, oh man, I'm so down because I keep getting no's. Well, guess what? That's one of the key things, is that we are asking people yes, no questions, and we're forcing them. It's almost like putting me in the front row. Remember the episode the day or two ago where somebody gave me tickets and I'm sitting in the front row, and then someone does the cattle call from the stage, and I am forced to make a decision right then and there, and the answer is going to be no. What if we asked a question that you couldn't answer yes or no to? Let's try that, and then we'll leave it there. Question is, so after you get done performing, you go out and you personally talk to somebody. Oh, I'm not the kind of person that talks to people. We'll talk about that later. But for right now, pretend that you are. And you go out and you talk to somebody and you say, hey, thank you so much for being here. And how does that make a person feel when you just say that? They probably feel pretty good because you're making it about them. And yeah, my son's holding onto the bookcase. I don't want it to fall over. I'm a little nervous for him. So be careful, be careful. I don't have that adhered to the wall. That's the thing. All right, so that's the important thing. It's about you, right? And it says, thank you for being here. And then you say, so, where do you like to do your singing? Where do you like to do it? And your version of it, right? Not what we do. Where do you like to do your singing? However you want to define it. Shower, car, church, walking the dog, vacuuming so you can't even hear yourself. Karaoke, I sing in a band. Awesome, right? So you can give all these different answers. And how do we respond to that? And this is where the fun begins. I mean, performing is fun. Learning that all of this can do that, that's fun. Uppy down is fun, but this is where it all starts to come together. So, any questions before we get rolling? I will let Jackson review those. I don't see that we have any right now, but I want to thank you for being here tonight. I hope that these are helpful. It is a pleasure to spend time with you. I hope that you're sharing these with other people, the ones that you find to be the most helpful. Just hit that share button, comment below, just so that you can let me know that you're here, let me know that it's making a difference, and I can answer questions. I want to thank Jackson for being here. As always, love that guy so much. We actually did lifting tonight, and I think everybody, maybe not me, I've met my max, but everybody went up, I think. Awesome. Yay, us. So I want to thank you all for being here. As I said, if you're watching later as a rerun, great having you with me as well. And hey, and continue making music.